first piece I want to show you is absolutely the centerpiece of the video. It's the piece I'm most proud of out of the haul, and if you follow me anywhere else, you've for sure already seen it because I've been spamming people with it. I'm just so proud and enchanted, and I just want everyone to look at it. And it is this vintage Victoria's Secret nightgown. I am obsessed with it. I said I'm so proud of it because I did thrift it, and you know, I think when you have to go a little bit farther to gain access to things, you just become a little bit more attached to them and proud of them. And I'm just so happy that this is mine now, and I'm also so happy that I acquired it the way I acquired it, because it was just like I looked at it and I needed to buy it no matter the price, because I felt seen. I felt myself reflected onto myself, and I just couldn't let anyone else have it. I felt like it just belonged to me. And that's how, you know, clothing should always feel, right? You should feel like it belongs to you. You should feel like it represents you. Each piece of clothing in your wardrobe, in my opinion, should be like an ambassador of yourself. The theme I want to talk about here, and just the element that I'm projecting into my fashion through this piece, is nightwear as day wear, or like just nightwear pieces in everyday looks. And that in itself is nothing new to my style. Everyone knows that I'm obsessed with nightwear and lingerie, and I always want to include that or elements of that in my everyday style. But I think this piece represents like a conjunction of what I have always loved and talked about and admired in those pieces, in lingerie and nightwear, and something a bit new that I'm trying to conjure up through this specific piece that I found so well represented by the elements in this specific piece. I don't know if I'm backed up by fashion history here, but I have always had the feeling that those areas of fashion evolve a little bit with more calm than others. A great example of that for me is the fact that today we see corsets as a lingerie element, when before they were just, you know, an undergarment of everyday life. I just think generally, when you look at even a modern bra or nightgown, you find in them a taste of older garments and trends. They're generally more romantic, more intricate, they have a greater attention to detail. And with lingerie, of course, you have a lot more structure going on, boning, things that we do not find that much in current pieces, which often, you know, are much less structured, much less intricate. And this piece has all of that, right? It has that amazing lacing detail in the back and the front. It's long, it's flowy, the fabric is gorgeous. You know, that soft gold reminds me of morning light and melted butter and candle wax, but also to, you know, the god Apollo, who, if you know me, you know I have a very particular relationship with. That has always been a huge part of my style. All those things, the lace, the lacing, the length, the color, etc. But obviously, and you can really tell by the fact that this goes all the way to your belly button, there is a lot of sensuality in this piece. You know, it's so open, and just the silhouette is different than, I'd say, most of my looks, because I love, you know, puffy sleeves and super curly skirts, so a lot of like cupcakey silhouettes. And this is just like sleek and follows your body, and it's super light, so you know, it really is following all your curves. And that's what I want to experiment with in my fashion, and what is represented so beautifully in this nightgown, like the conjunction of the identity I will always have, and there's the things I want to, I don't know, dip my little toes in. I'm turning 19 this year, so like growing up is really hitting me hard. I will be just 1 year away from quote-unquote true adulthood. I spent most of my late teenage years in the pandemic. I turned 16 right when it started, and 17 and 18, and now that things are a little bit more chill, I'm not saying it's over, but things are more chill, I feel that I am finally actually having to face and confront both the responsibilities and the pleasures that come with being more independent. And I'm reflecting about so many new things, and I'm also just like, I feel like meeting myself again. Like I stopped in the beginning of this year, and I had to be like, so who are we right now? What do we like? What are we doing? Because I feel like for those pandemic years, we were always a little bit lost, and now that you can see yourself again in your interactions with other people, I'm just, I don't know, learning so much about myself and what I want to be and what I want to feel. And I think this nightgown and just nightwear in general is perfectly demonstrating that, because it both carries all that delicacy and softness and loveliness I have always tried to bring and have always tried to, conjure in my life, but it also has a vulnerability. It is also so much more exposed and raw and sensual, and I am exploring with understanding the world more through my senses and less through my mind. I've been reflecting a lot about how I have used fashion not just to reveal my identity, but also to conceal things and as a defense mechanism. I have always loved those puffy princessy silhouettes, and I have always loved, a bit like of a strangeness in my style. And I'm thinking about how, yeah, all of that is part of my identity and all of it represents elements of my personality and experiences. But how much of that is also me hiding from possible disappointment, from possible pain, from judgment? How much of that is me being frightened of my own body and what it wants and what it doesn't want? There is such a delicacy inherent to any piece of nightwear because it is connected with sleep and consequently with dreams. And I have always been fascinated by dreams. I think I used that word in my poetry collection literally like 2,000 times. I have always been fascinated by neurology and the god Morpheus and all of that. And I think in dreams, a specific kind of delicacy is revealed. That experience of dreaming, and also the moment right when you're about to fall asleep and right when you've just woken up. You're existing in a plane of such greater softness. You're just floating. But there is also such a huge vulnerability and rawness there. You are so exposed and you are so sensitive to the world around you. I just think I want to, through my fashion, understand myself as inscrutable and dichotomous, and someone who doesn't have to be just intellectual or just sensorial or just soft or just, dark and somber. In dreams, you are always all of those things. You are always exploring the deepest parts of yourself, but also touching something so inexplicably lovely. And, we don't know what they are. We have never gotten what dreams are meant to be. We have judged them divine messengers and demonic curses. And I think I want to see them as a sort of inscrutable spellcraft, completely divorced from our traditional understandings of good and bad. And I want to carry those spells in every piece I choose in the morning. Okay, so that went super deep for no reason, but we're back to planet Earth, and I want to talk to you about mini skirts. I bought these two and I'm just super excited about them. I think they look super cute and they're super fun and so easy to mix and match. And while they absolutely do depart from, the classic core of my style, I feel so good in them. I think I look cute and I don't know, they're fun. That's what we're bringing to the new year. More fun, more sensuality, more experimentation. And I have cute miniskirts to do that in. I was just talking about, how obviously my fashion sense is such a strong part of my identity and representation of it, but it also acts as something of a defense mechanism. And I love my maxi skirts. I love lifting the skirt up when I have to go upstairs and being super dramatic about it. But I do think that it represents what I was talking about on the theme of fashion, not as a revealment of identity, but as a concealment of it. And I'm dropping all the shrouds. I want to be fun. I want to experiment with modernity. I want to look basic sometimes. I was thinking a lot about, that idea of being basic and the idea of being strange or alternative. And that strangeness in itself is sometimes just as much concealment as it is revealing of your identity. And sometimes you just kind of want to look like everyone else. It is not a crime or a sin to want to look like a basic, pretty teenage girl. I feel like sometimes people who have a bit more like archaic interests develop this sort of like superiority complex, which is in itself, of course, a defense mechanism to be like, oh, I don't want to look like that. I don't want to be pretty in that way. I'm so different, etc., etc. Obviously, it's generally not that explicit, and often it is subconscious. But sometimes I feel like I have felt embarrassment in just wanting to be basic, and just wanting to be normal, and just wanting to look like a girl next door. Don't be ashamed of wanting to be seen as pretty. Don't be ashamed of wanting to be liked. That's a completely natural human desire. We want to be wanted, we want to be accepted. And if putting on a little plaid mini skirt and feeling cute and bubbly makes you feel, you know, a part of the grand human experience, then put on the damn mini skirt. That's what I have to say about these. The next piece you actually just saw because I've been really into styling it with that miniskirt, even though it doesn't exactly match, but it kind of does in a strange way. And it is this amazing strapless green corset. I paid so little for this, it was so cheap and I just had to get it. Again, if you know me, you know corsets are a laddie staple. They are like an absolutely key part of my style, and I'm obsessed with them, and I want to have like an enormous collection of them. But up until now, all of my corsets have been of the historical variety. Obviously not exact like reproductions because I don't have the money for that, but clearly like silhouette wise inspired by certain historical periods. And this one is super modern. Like, this is not in any way period piece worthy. It's very modern, it's very kind of lingerie vibes, and I love it. It just reflects all I've been talking about, you know? We're gonna be fun this year. We're gonna explore modernity. We're gonna be 21st century girls. And I feel pretty in it. I feel hot, honestly, and that's so absurd for me to say because I have never thought about myself in those terms. But I do, and I think the color is amazing. It kind of reflects what I was talking about in regards to the nightgown, in that like it has exactly the color that I have always been wearing. I've always been a green girl, have always loved light green, and it has always been like a very strong association with my identity, but it has something kind of different in the silhouette, and that's what I'm touching on, you know? I don't want this video to sound like I'm coming here and being like, hey, here's my new style for the year, because I hate that sort of thing. It's the bread and butter of micro trends and overconsumption. I treat my fashion sense sort of sacredly, honestly, and I'm not gonna like sit down and brainstorm an artificial new one when I have spent my entire life, you know, developing one organically. But it's just, you know, I am within my world. I'm just exploring new crevices of it, and this corset is a part of it. The next things I want to show you go against what I just said about keeping like the colors of my standard quote-unquote style, but we're exploring in all directions, baby. And the next pieces are actually not clothes. They're this notebook and this pen. I have become a red girl. I don't know what to tell you. I love the color red. It's so fun. It's so charming. I bought this Leuchtturm little notebook in Germany. It's for my diary. I'm trying to get back into actual journaling because I'm so on and off about it, and I was like kind of deciding between this and a sage green, and you know, a green is my color, but I was just like, this represents the activity of journaling so much better. Like, my heart is bright red and I'm gonna put it in these pages. And then I've also bought a fountain pen, and the ink is also red inside it. I look so silly right now just talking about the color red and being so excited over it, but I don't know, that is just how I am. There are just like random things in this world that excite me and speak to me, and currently the color red is one of them. I also want to bring a lot more red into my style. I don't know, I just think, you know, it goes against all the softness, quote unquote, and meekness that I have associated with myself throughout my life. And I love that for it, actually. Red is such a vulnerable color. Like, of course, it's associated with power and sensuality, etc., etc. but it is the color humans turn when you open them. So I do think it is like quintessentially raw and vulnerable. I don't know. Also, I just look really good in it. I have the kind of complexion where actually I don't think pastels look very good on me, like muted colors. Stop it, he's meowing at me. I need strong colors because like both my skin and hair are strong colors. I just started the year thinking about strawberries and cherries and Valentine's Day and bright lipstick and a human heart torn open. That's the energy we're bringing, and these are representative of it. I'm very interested in acquiring red Mary Janes. I don't know, I just think they would be so charming. But I have bought shoes recently. These little sandals. I think they don't look that exciting, but I'm actually really excited about them because I realized recently that I just don't have like a basic white heel. Okay, our angle has slightly changed because the cat fully headbutted the tripod. As I was saying, I don't have like a basic white heel, which is absurd because most of my closet is white and most of it is skirts and dresses and other such things that pair really well with this. And I just think this shoe kind of represents me becoming like a woman because it's like, look at it, like as I said, it's basic but it's cute and we are going for that energy right now. I just think like it's obviously pretty, like there are things in this world which are interestingly pretty and shockingly pretty, and this is just like obviously cute. I'm gonna have so much use for it, and I really just, this is just like not a grand philosophical thought. I'm just talking about fashion now. I love this kind of heel. I think it's very comfortable and also very pretty. I honestly think like very thin heels just don't look good. Like I just don't think they're cute. I like them a bit thicker. I just think that looks much better. And I'm not very good at walking in heels, so it is very important. I just talked about those shoes kind of representing me becoming a woman. And if you don't know me or don't know me very well, that won't sound as bizarre to you as it would if you did know me because I have always struggled very hard with the idea of womanhood, and I still reject it in many senses, but it truly like haunted me for most of my life. It felt like a curse. I hated the idea of being seen as a woman, like it made me want to vomit. Like I broke out in a cold sweat. I have always like seen the spaces of womanhood and girlhood very differently, and girlhood felt comfortable to me. Womanhood did not, and I think that's because I have always associated womanhood with loss and violence and being looked at differently, and I still do, and I'm still dealing with the discomfort of existing in this body. But I feel like I'm becoming a little bit more comfortable re-signifying it in the personal level. I don't think we will ever acquire enough power to give new meaning to womanhood on like a political level. That's way a more complicated topic, but like I just want to clarify, it's just for me, I've been seeing womanhood a little bit differently and I've been feeling a little bit more comfortable existing in this body. So that's fun for me. I don't want to puke anymore. Just sometimes. Don't try to break my egg in the comments. It is already broken. It has been for a long time. I'm just trying to understand what its contents mean. Now, for the very last piece, I have no talking point. I don't know what the theme is. I don't know what I'm projecting with it entirely. I just want to boast because I also thrifted it, and it is this AC Miyake pleated vest, and it is gorgeous. It was a little bit expensive. Not as much as it would be to buy it new, but I just think it's hot. Like it's awesome. It looks cool. We started with this big like manifesto about what nightwear means and what personal. The cat keeps headbutting the tripod. But we started with this huge like complicated manifesto, and now we just got into the point where I'm just like, it's hot. And good for me, honestly. That's exactly what I want to do with my life. I want to stop writing manifestos and just start saying that's hot. I think too much. I want to think less this year. That's my #1 resolution. Think less. So that was the video. I hope I came across normal and I hope you could understand what I mean. I know my words are very confusing sometimes. I'm just mysterious. I'm just inscrutable. It's fine. I'm the modern day Oracle of Delphi. Follow for more Oracle of Delphi content. Normally, what am I saying? I think I need to eat. I haven't eaten all day. Okay, that's the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Send to all your friends. Pay for ads and make me super duper famous so I can buy more cute clothes. Bye everyone. If your resolution is to think more or think less, I hope you achieve it.